All right, guys, we're back. This you can't write the script any better. Literally, as I'm doing my first standing live, I realized that the computer was not charging correctly, and it just died midway through. And I think the old me would probably be like, "Oh my god, that's so embarrassing! Like, what do I do now?" But I'm literally on a live talking about how to not give a fuck, and that's just it. Who cares? At the end of the day, we're out here creating content, trying to provide value to men that are going through shit all over the world. Men that want to attract beautiful women, men that want to improve their personal brands for their business and their dating lives. Like, what are you doing right now? What are you doing? Are you complaining that someone else has something that you don't have? Are you sitting around and playing video games and jacking off? Are you eating shitty food? Are you reading toxic, news or dating advice that's not going to get you anywhere? What are you doing? Like, seriously, ask yourself that. Ask yourself, because I know there's a trend here. There's a common theme that guys are going in the wrong direction. Guys are looking for quick fixes. They're looking for who to place the blame onto rather than actually taking responsibility and ownership for their actions. Well, guess what? I fuck up, and so does Trey, and so do all of you. But I think the difference is that if you want to be a leader, part of it is not giving a fuck, and part of it is taking responsibility and ownership, having that forgiveness for yourself and for others, and moving on. That is a big aspect of not giving a fuck and not dwelling in all that pain and that misery that you've been through and all that suffering up until this point in your life.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, bro. That whole idea of not giving a fuck, bro. It's like you really want to get to a point where you really embody it. You
Mm.
give a fuck or whatever, but it's the difference between saying it and really living it. You know what I mean? And it starts by like little steps. Like it started for me by going out and approaching women. Like that's an activity that someone who doesn't give a fuck would do. He would go out and approach random women on the street or in the grocery store with no apology. You know what I mean? You are your actions, right? So if you want to not give a fuck, you actually have to take actions that align with that. You know what I mean? You have to just embrace that way of being and not be one of those guys that just, yeah, I don't give a fuck or whatever. No, like just let your actions demonstrate that. You know what I mean?
Let's talk more about that, because I'm the same way. All right. How did I get into this world of personal development? Through the pickup world, through day game, going out and getting rejected a lot and doing things that will push me out of my comfort zone. Now, I've realized that a lot of the information out there is toxic, so I'm very selective about the people that I associate myself with, and I'm very selective about the guys that I recommend. But I do realize that there is a big aspect of that rite of passage of becoming a man is learning how you can meet and attract beautiful women into your life. But there are other ways of also, overcoming this fear of what others think of you, of, getting into this place of how do I not give a fuck? And one of them is like, well, we're doing it right now. We're live streaming over the internet. All right. If we fuck up, it's in live time right now, like it just happened. So we can either take ownership for it, or we can get nervous and, try to be perfect, try to be that perfectionist, and, not actually be real with you and be vulnerable and be honest. Another way, and I want to hear what other ways you have, another way is possibly wearing something that, you're not so used to wearing. So I'll give you an example. I bought these pants the other day in Zara, and they were like these Irish pants. And I was like, dude, those are cool, but I wonder what people are going to think about me. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck what other people think about me. I'm going to wear these pants because I think they're cool. I'm going to go out, take some pictures, post them online. All right. I'm going to change up my image a little bit. I'm going to experiment with a new style. And who gives a fuck whether people judge me or not? What else do you think? What other ways do you think other guys can go out and push their comfort zone to not give a fuck?
Yeah, I like what you said about wearing clothes that maybe people wouldn't normally accept or might laugh at or think is weird. I think that's a great way to get out your comfort zone. I experimented with that a little bit. I went through different phases where I was trying to figure out my archetype, like my style. So at
Mhm.
one point, I used to wear like suits, three-piece suits. You know what I mean? And I would wear it like out because I'm in Orlando, Florida, so like it's super hot over here. So I'd wear the suit and like, people would be like, "Hey man, why are you wearing a suit? Like it's hot as hell, man. Like you must be dying in that suit." And you kind of when you get comments like that, you kind of like, "Oh yeah, they're right. Maybe I shouldn't wear the suit." But it's that mentality of who gives a fuck? If I want to wear a suit, I'll wear a suit. If it's hot, I'll put up with it. I decided to wear a suit, and it is what it is. And that so that's a good example. Wearing different clothing. What else? Not to not give a fuck. Just expressing yourself authentically. I think that's another way to do it is working on that.
Oh,
Yeah, working on expressing yourself and communicating exactly how you feel. Maybe it might not sound cool to say certain things, or it may not be like super politically correct, but if that's how you feel, if that's how you authentically want to express yourself, then do it and don't give a fuck because you'll feel free, you'll feel real, and you'll connect with the right people. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're gonna maybe turn off some people, but those are not your people. Like, those aren't the people you're supposed to connect with. People who get what you're saying and can appreciate you being genuine and being honest. And those are people you'll influence, those are people you'll help, right? And you don't want to like put on this fake way of being to be accepted and then get mixed up with the wrong people, and then now your energy's off and your vibe is off and you're having these weird experiences and you find yourself in weird situations. You know what I mean? It's better to just express yourself and yeah, I think that's another way to demonstrate you don't give a fuck. It's like, yo, I am who I am. You know what I mean?
and you know what? That is such a crucial one, but it's not an easy pill to swallow. And you can choose how far you want to take it. All right, you can choose whether you want to be authentic but not triggering, or whether you're going to be authentic and you're also going to be triggering. And I got into this place like right now where I feel very authentic with the way in which I speak and the way in which I act, but I also see that that can cause people to get pretty triggered, pretty riled up. All right, and if they're not freely expressing back to me how they actually feel, it can cause a disconnect. So I'm going to give you an example. I got on a call with a guy the other day who, you know, we had a solid connection, really solid connection. But when I told him, it sounds like, dude, we might be able to do some work together. He said, yeah, you're right. And then a few hours later was like, I didn't like that, we went down that path where we even, possibly thought about working together. And I'm saying to myself, listen, were you honest with me? Was that what you were truly feeling in that moment? Were you really authentic with yourself? Because if he would have said to me, no, man, like, I don't really want that. I want something else. You know, it's going to be much easier for the other person to articulate and to understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. Like the same thing goes in a relationship. If you tell someone one thing, all right, if you tell them that you're into, you know, drinking beer tonight, but then the next day you're like, why the fuck did you make me drink? Well, then, the other person is thinking, listen, you could have just been honest with me. You could have just told me that you don't want to drink tonight. that you don't want to do those things. And so this has been a big one for me that I'm preaching to guys a lot is don't lay down to honesty just because you think that it's going to be a little bit easier or more comfortable, or you're going to save the relationship, because actually you're going to sabotage the relationship by holding inside how you actually feel. And then those emotions are going to sit there. They're going to come up at the wrong time. And it's going to be drama. It's going to be tension that it could have been resolved from the get-go just by being straightforward and direct with someone, from the beginning.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's a tough one, especially when it comes to, like, family and people you really care about.
Yeah.
You don't want to disappoint them or upset them by saying something that may be the truth, but you don't want them to have the bad feelings that may come with them hearing the truth. But it's just understanding that when you express the truth and you're honest with people, you're helping them to face the truth. You're helping them to see a different perspective that maybe they need to see that will help them grow and help them evolve. And that's something that I feel like I'm good at being honest and real with, like, majority of people. But I notice with family, sometimes you kind of want to hold back because you want to spare their feelings. You know what I mean? Family and friends. And so, yeah, even me, there's different levels of not giving a fuck. You know what I mean? And I can be honest and say, like, with my family, there's a level there too where it's like being able to, in a loving way, maybe check them when they need to be checked. You know what I mean? Like when they're wrong, or even like my mom still tries to tell me what to do. You know what I mean? And I love her, and sometimes it's like I have to find ways to express to her, like, no, you're wrong, in this situation. Like, I'm not going to do that, actually. I don't agree with that. And sometimes you don't want to say that because you love and respect your mom, but it's necessary for you as a man to maintain your masculinity and also learn this way of calibrating your communication, because there's ways to be real, be honest, be authentic, but also calibrate it so the person can understand that you're not like coming at them, with aggressiveness or whatever. It's like, it's actually I'm coming from a loving place, but it's learning how to calibrate it so they get that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love it. I love it because what you just talked about is how do you be authentic and real with people and have it come from your heart, from a loving place, so that they can understand that it's not rooted in a place of trying to manipulate them or, control them or sell them or sleep with them. It's coming from a place of you're just trying to be real with them. You're just trying to be honest with them. You're trying to show them empathy and compassion. And if you can do that, I feel like it's a tough one because it takes time to progress to that place. But when you get there, you'll know, because your relationships will be much deeper and they'll be much more authentic, and you'll be able to get to new topics, and you'll be able to go into different levels of this relationship even faster than before, just because someone can feel that you're actually being real with them, that you're not holding something back. And especially if you know how to calibrate it in a way based off of that person that's not going to hurt them, that's going to show them the love that they need and the compassion that they need, it's a truly liberating experience. It's an awakening by all means. And I think it's something that, a lot of you guys that are listening to this, that's actually where you want to get to. You know it too. You want to become more authentic. You want to become more real. You want to become more loving. But there is fear in hurting someone's feelings. There is fear in getting rejected for being honest with someone. there is fear of stepping out of that comfort zone and trying something new that, you know, you haven't been doing up until this point. So let's break it down. Basically, the last point: how do you overcome that fear that you face when you start to not give a fuck anymore? What do you think?
How do you overcome it? I would say start where you are and just take daily steps towards overcoming it. You know, don't try to just wake up one day and say, I'm gonna just be beast out and I'm not gonna give a fuck and I'm gonna be, you know, like that's just too much. Like you're gonna overwhelm yourself and probably just, you know, the next day just go back to normal, you know. Just every day try to practice, make this a practice. Do one, two, or three things a day that bring you out of your comfort zone, that allow you to express yourself more, to be more free, more genuine, more authentic, and do it consistently. Small steps every day, small things that you can do. Maybe, you know, if you're want to be more authentic with women, you know, maybe when you go and approach that girl, instead of focusing on getting her number, focus on how can I approach this girl and express myself as authentically as possible. You know, make that your goal. And how do I pick her up? How do I have sex with her? Whatever. Right. And interesting enough, you'll notice you'll get closer to picking her up and having sex with her and all that stuff by changing your goal to how can I express myself more? Because that's how you connect with another human being, is by being real, by expressing yourself. And women are actually, you know, I feel like women reject men a lot. A lot of the reason why they reject men is because men are walking up to them and approaching with this front, this, oh, I'm trying to impress you, oh, I'm trying to get something from you. And that's why they reject you. Not, you know, guys will say, oh, I'm not good looking enough, or I'm not this, I'm not that. No, a lot of it is literally just the fact that you're trying to be something you're not. You know, you're putting up a front, you're and you're not expressing yourself genuinely, and the girl can feel something is off, and then for that reason she'll reject you. And you'll try to figure it out, but a lot of the times that's what it is. Your communication is not genuine, it's not real. And when you work on this and start developing this quality, people will want to be around you more. You know what I mean? Because there's certain energy, there's certain vibe that you'll carry that people, you know, will be like, nah, this is a real person that I can trust. You know, this person is gonna be honest with me. And you know what I mean? And that's like a valuable quality, because not a lot of people have it. You know, there's a lot of value in just being able to express yourself authentically, because not a lot of people can do it or are doing it. So yeah, I would say to overcome that fear is just taking these little steps. You know, you don't have to try to be a beast or be amazing right away. Like you work your way up to that. Like same way how you know, I like to use the gym as an example. When you go in the gym, you have to start where you are. You know, maybe the weights that you're gonna lift at first may not be that impressive, but if you keep, you know, building it up consistently, you can get to a point where you can do these crazy things and whatever. And that's what I found with my journey with picking up women. When I started out, I was horrible. You know what I mean? I could barely say hi without sweating. Sometimes I would approach a girl and I would literally like choke up and freeze in front of her, and it would be super embarrassing. And then, like I said, it got to a point where now, you know, I can approach a girl and I could literally say anything, you know what I mean? And I can just be present and grounded, and I can hold eye contact, and I can, you know, lead the interaction, and I can, you know, do like maneuver with the interaction. But it's because I've built it up over time. You know what I mean? Consistency, discipline, and having faith, believing that that if I stay consistent, I will become this version of myself that I want to be. I will get this result that I want to get. Because you know, when you start, you don't have the results. So sometimes you may think, oh, I don't know if this is working, or if, you know what I mean? But you have to have that faith and that vision, because, you know, it starts in your mind. It starts, you know, metaphysically. Like you have to know that it starts as a thought, and then you have to manifest it into reality through consistency. It takes time. You know what I mean? But it can be done. That's the thing you need to know. It can be done. You can get to this place where you can express yourself authentically, where you don't give a fucking about people's opinions anymore. You can get to this place, but it's a process. It's not an overnight thing, but just know that it can happen. And the more consistent you are with it, and the more you believe in it, and the more, you know what I mean, you work on it, the faster it will happen, you know? So
That's a lot of golden nuggets in one little, one little riff. And I'm just gonna add on top of that is, first off, understanding who you are, what is your value, what do you stand for, where is your integrity lie? And if you don't like something about yourself, either change it or like think, who do I want to become? Okay. I see that guy. All right. And he's got this attribute and this attribute and this attribute that I love. How can I go out and start to embody those attributes as well? Because I know for myself, when I was getting into the dating scene, like I didn't feel like I had a lot of value. So what I wanted to do was paint a picture of who do I want to become? What kind of reality do I want to step into? Okay. Same thing like when I'm starting a business, when I'm building up my personal brand. That brand is mine. I am my brand. But are there aspects of it that are like, oh, I like what that guy did and what this guy did, and I'm going to learn from them. And I'm going to bring that into my toolbox, into my skill set, and I'm going to become a complete package. Okay. And then when you go up, you're not going to have to fake it because it's actually going to be you. Now, that's figuring out, who are you? What do you stand for? What is inside of you? And what do you need to add if something's missing? Number two is actually having gratitude for what you already have in your life. Because you're looking outside and you're thinking, oh my God, I see that guy who's got this, and, that hot girl on Instagram, and, that guy's brand is getting X amount of engagement. And I'm thinking to myself, stop giving a fuck about all that other shit. Focus on you. Focus on what you already have. Okay. Even if things are tough for you right now, you know that there's someone else out there who's got it worse. But you're putting your focus and your energy on what do I not have? What do I lack? Rather than what is in my control and what is in my reality. So, that's how I'm going to tie it back into stop giving a fuck about everything else that's outside and start worrying, what can I do today? And as you said, go out, make a little list of things that you need to get done and just go and do them. And don't worry about all the outside voices. Don't worry about the rejection. Don't worry about what might happen. Don't think, oh, but if I do this, it's gonna be so bad. No, think about the beautiful relationship that you could create. Think about making someone's day just by saying hello to them when they haven't even had an interaction with people for weeks because of coronavirus. Think about creating a business that could actually change someone's life, like what you've done, where you see a guy who's struggling, he's shy, he's frustrated. If you gave a fuck, Trey, about all the other people who worried about, the fact that you're in a tank top and you're standing up when you're shooting these videos, you wouldn't be able to go out and actually save lives and actually serve men and actually help others. But a lot of you guys out there, you could do the same thing. You could help other people too. But instead, you're consuming content, you're making excuses, you're coming from a scarcity mindset, and you're letting your limiting beliefs control you. So, this is my invitation to you to stop giving a fuck about everyone else out there and everything else that's going on, and start working on your reality and what you can control, and bringing people into your network like Trey, like myself, like other guys in the mastermind who are actually going to push you and lift you up to a higher dimension. So Trey, Where can they find you? How can they work with you? What do you got going on right now?
Yeah, man. So I'm super active on Facebook. So my Facebook is Trey Morgan, or
Mhm.
Facebook/ Real Trey Morgan. My profile picture is if you ever seen Beauty and the Beast with a woman laying on him, that's my profile. So yeah, I'm very active there. You'll see my videos stuff on my page. You can hit me up. I have a group. It's called the Sexy Beast Tribe. And in
The
there,
Sexy Beast Tribe. Talk about a guy who just doesn't give a fuck. He's got, a Cinderella on his profile picture and the Sexy Beast Tribe. Like, dude, you so embody that.
hell yeah, bro. So yeah, and I got even more content where I'm even more not giving a fuck because it's my group. You know what I mean? So I get more intense. So if you're feeling the vibes and you kind of like what I was saying, definitely hit me up and I'll get back to the group.
Awesome, my man. Always great to connect with you. You guys know the deal. Drop a like, drop a comment. If you disagree with us, that's fine too. Let us know how you feel. And if you want to connect and do some work, hit one of us up. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.